Tony knew his biological parents were billionaires, but he pretended to be disabled when meeting them, just because he knew, in 2.5 seconds, a pregnant stranger would show up and demand he take responsibility. But what he didn't expect was that his biological parents could hear his thoughts. While they were still confused, trying to figure out where the voice was coming from, a pregnant woman burst in crying. She clung to Tony's father and begged him not to abandon her, claiming she was carrying his child. When the pregnant woman actually showed up, his parents immediately realized the voice they heard was coming from Tony. Seeing this scene, Tony was furious and quickly reminded the woman she got the wrong guy. He was the one she was looking for. The woman froze, then turned and gave an awkward smile, put more eye drops in, got back into character and lunged at Tony again, repeating her exact same lines like nothing changed. Seeing this, Tony quickly got into character too, put on a pained expression and explained that he disappeared back then to escape debt, and had his legs broken by thugs. He never imagined the woman would now be pregnant. He said firmly he would take full responsibility for her, and reached out to marry her right then and there. The woman panicked, hurriedly explained she was just paid to act. Then she pulled off her fake belly and tossed it at Tony, and ran off without looking back. Seeing this, the billionaire couple was finally relieved. They were convinced their son was still a good person. Tony was also overwhelmed, and went up to hug his long-lost parents. Just as the three were lost in their emotional reunion, the mother suddenly realized her son's legs were totally fine. Tony quickly explained he only pretended to be crippled to fool the woman. His mother didn't press further, and immediately took him home. As for how Tony knew in advance the pregnant woman would come, it was because he was actually a deity who had an accident while undergoing a trial in the human world. And when he woke up, he found himself inside Tony's body. Just like that, he got into the car with his parents. But on the way home, Tony learned that their adopted son was planning to fake running away to gain sympathy from their rich parents. At first the parents heard his inner voice and weren't quite sure if it was real, but as soon as they entered the house, a servant rushed over to report the eldest young master was running away from home. Sure enough, the scheming adopted son saw the parents return through the window, grabbed his suitcase and rushed downstairs. His mother tried to stop him, but the adopted son tearfully said he had thought about it all night and decided to leave. After all, Tony was back now, and he couldn't take his place. His mother believed him, and hurriedly said she wasn't kicking him out just because Tony was back. But the adopted son got on his knees and kowtowed, then stood up and resolutely turned to leave. Tony watched coldly, seeing through everything. The suitcase was completely empty. It was all just an act for the parents. At that moment the father also sensed something was off, and immediately questioned him. The adopted son panicked when exposed, and quickly changed his story, saying that if he was leaving, he wouldn't take anything from the house. But Tony noticed his pockets were bulging, and asked about it. The adopted son actually pulled out a bunch of luxury car keys, saying they were gifts from the parents and two sisters over the years, and now he was returning all of them. Just as the two were locked in a standoff, Tony's two sisters came home. The eldest sister saw what was happening, and thought Tony was stealing from the adopted brother. She immediately looked displeased, but Tony saw through their fates again. The second sister was a top surgeon, but in a few days would be injured in a hospital incident, and never able to hold a scalpel again. The eldest sister would be deceived by